Wow! Wow! Wowza! Wow! Wow! Wow, 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 wow.
Copa das Copas, Rogi.
Wow! Rogerio.
It's Rogerio. It is tense watching a shootout in a room full of Brazilians. Gilberto Silva, Gabby the talent wrangler, Mummy, and makeup artist.
Not pleased when we cheered for Chile.
Well, when you cheered Chile's goal, they were not happy that moment with you. There's a party where the whole ESPN massive studio complex is built above a yacht club, which I believe I have reciprocal membership in.
I do not.
I haven't tested it yet. And downstairs, you might be able to hear the music. There is a massive party going on, and the place was shaking during that penalty shootout, Rog.
And now it's erupted. It's like a bar mitzvah. I do want to apologise to the weather girls. I think I called you the Pointer Sisters, but I think you're playing live.
Well, I want to apologise for the US men's national team. I said you drew 2-2 against Ghana.
Wow!
Oh, wow.
Copa das Copas!
Wow.
We went out with Bob Lee last night, and we did float the notion of what would we all do if Brazil lost.
We'd stay in this panic room. We'd never leave, Rog.
We wouldn't leave it. We'd turn this Bob Lee's panic room into its original use.
Yeah,
but Bob Lee just looked at us over the dinner table, surrounded by steak.
A man of such experience, been all around the world. He's seen it kick off everywhere, Rog.
And he just said, we'll be eating a lot of room service.
Yeah.
That was what he said he'd be doing if Brazil lost. They almost did, but then they didn't. Wow! There's not a sphincter to be found in this country right now. Not one.
We are not for one moment suggesting that FIFA fixed the World Cup, Rog. And we have to say, great job, FIFA. Great job, FIFA.
Wow.
But the writing of this game particularly, Brazil reduced to just hoofing long balls upfield again and again and again.
Like England.
Chile almost with a, jar hits the crossbar right at the end there.
They played, as Pablo Neruda would say, as if they were filled with fire.
Almost lost with the hit on the crossbar. And then the penalty shootout, which they win with as many misses as there were goals scored in that penalty shootout, Rog. So dramatic. Brilliant writing.
What
and
a
the
day
Emmy
of
goes
reckoning.
to
The day of reckoning
FIFA.
for Chilumbaguay. That is what today's theme is. We want to say we're the Men in Blazers. At Sarah Baker 216 tweeted us at Men in Blazers. My mum just called Men in Blazers two guys in a suit. Very nice of you. We're actually a little more stuffy and balding, or whatever they call it.
Scruffy, not stuffy. I think I might be stuffy.
We have got to talk about this game, because to me, watching this Brazil team, you at home, many of you have probably not watched too many World Cups, and you're wondering, wow, you are even this person.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Ann Coulter, you notice she's up there, Rog.
Yeah.
She's up there right now. She's next to Beckerman.
She pretends she doesn't.
Yogi Löw's picking his nose. Messi's up there.
While we're talking about Ann Coulter, can we just say, a lot of you want to know what we think about Ann Coulter. Wow. We don't think anything, and you shouldn't either. She's just trolling to try and get you annoyed, and it's a sign of how much football is growing in America, where someone like that could write something like that. And just don't respond. Laugh it off, slough it off.
It's hilarious.
Wow. So this was like, when we were little in England, we used to talk a lot about night.
Yeah.
And what was the worst thing that could happen to a knight on the battlefield, David? They could fall over.
Oh, in the armour.
Yeah, in the
because they could never get up once they'd fallen over in the armour.
And always in thousands of children's books that I grew up on, very nice pictures of peasants surrounding a knight and beating his face in with kind of a blunt object, because the knight was totally powerless. Today, Brazil were that knight who fell off the horse in their armour and were unable to move, as Chile Chile have some great players, but they also have a lot of players who you will never hear of again. And today they surrounded the toppled knight in that suit of armour and just panned their face in for 90 minutes while they lay there absolutely prostrate. You're wondering, we've heard Brazil play great football. We've heard Brazil do the Cirque du Soleil stuff, the flicks, the feints, the samba, the carnival. Not this Brazil team, David. They are England in disguise.
Yeah, they were. It was not a vintage performance. I feel like it's tough of us, though, or rough of us, to immediately go in, them having won that game, to go and attack them. And yet it's very difficult to find a lot to love about that Brazilian performance. The goal they scored, I'm not sure if it's going to be credited to Luis or it's going to be an own goal, but it was from a set piece. You said just before the goal, Rog said to me, and he hadn't eaten any cupcakes, he said, oh, set pieces, corner kicks.
To bite.
That's what's going to do Chile in. Corner kick comes in, David Luiz or maybe the defender.
And he did that little
score the goal.
celebration.
Not much of a goal. Neymar looked very good, Rog. Did look like
the spells.
Very quick, very fast, but we saw his Achilles heel.
The shooting button was jammed on his EA Sports paddle.
Well, he's got no right foot. He's got no left foot. Or he just is so desperate to cut into his right foot. He was turning into triple coverage rather than shoot off his left foot. His passing off his left foot wasn't good. Crossing wasn't good off his left foot.
I mean, the Brazil we grew up with in England, they had amazing names. Garincha, the little wren. Tostão, the little coin. This Brazil team, it's pretty well all you need to know. Fred, which means Fred. And Joe,
which means
Joe.
Which is sort of Brazilian Andy Carroll, Rog, without any of the sophistication or physicality.
At Dangler Red, Freds that would make Brazil better than Fred. Savage, Rogers, Flintstone, Astaire, Sanford and Armisen. I mean, you can add to that Fred Willard. You can add to that Wright said. Fred would probably be better, the two of them playing up front. The only Fred I can think of off the top of my head that would weaken Brazil, other than the one they do play, Fred, the mustachioed gentleman, is probably Fred Durst. I think would probably slow. He wouldn't be the focal point that they do need.
No, wouldn't quite work. It was just an interesting game. It never got any rhythm going. More fouls than any other game, I guess, since the 1990 World Cup, Rog, which is amazing. Howard Webb, World Cup of Bald Men, last Englishman left in the competition.
Bravest English performance since 1966, that was.
And I think there will be some Brazilian fans who are upset with him because of the penalty call, which he didn't he didn't give.
How, by the way,
and the goal, the penalty call he didn't give, and also the biggest one is the handball he called.
I am relieved England won. Just because had they lost and not got the penalty call from Howard Webb,
Brazil won.
An English ball man. Tonight on the streets of Rio, the Brazilians,
they
would have just gone looking for any ball man with an English accent.
We would have been done.
They would have done. We would have been walking
but
around
I thought
like,
Howard Webb,
$1 million. We're not. That's the only phrase I can say in an American accent.
But I thought Howard Webb had a good game. I thought he had a good game.
He was excellent.
Had an excellent game.
Here's what the problem was with this game for both teams. Number of fouls, game of kind of boom, boom, boom. It was not beautiful football. The suspense was nipple tingling.
It was amazing.
The football less so. The two sides, they punched themselves out in the national anthems. You can't sing. You have to sing them like England, with preserving your emotion, where you really pretend you don't care, even though when you're England you care inside, right, David? They gave too much in the first national anthem and the second verse.
And that was just the children, Rog. The Brazilian children singing their little hearts out. We got a great tweet, Rog, at Men in Blazers from Sasha Spilili. Why is Andre Agassi coaching Chile's national football team? It does look like a bit like Andre Agassi as well as like Pitbull. Okay, here comes in a happy Brazilian. Gabby Ventura, talent wrangler, extraordinaire. You're very happy, aren't you, now? Now you're happy. Now you're happy.
Breathe.
Now you can breathe. What are you bringing us? This is meant to be Gabby brings us water.
I brought you paçocas.
Okay, what are paçocas?
Those are very traditional Brazilian peanut candy-like.
Peanut candy?
Yeah.
To dull the impact of the cupcakes, I will not be eating these. I will not let science speak.
That looks like a wine cork. You could you could keep your wine. I'm not going to eat that during the broadcast because I'd still like to have my tea. So talk me through your emotions, Gabby.
Now I can breathe.
Yes.
Because I just spent the last 120 so minutes completely.
Gabby, let me ask you this: when Chile scored, and one of us, I can't remember which one,
it was Rog,
cheered for the Chile goal. How did that feel?
Not cool, dude. Not cool at all.
Very
We're not
upset.
supposed to do that here.
I just want to make it clear, I was wearing my yellow tie.
Come on, Colombia.
Thank you for
Brazil
that.
today. Thank you
for that.
And okay, so you got the win. The party's going on downstairs. You can hear it at the yacht club right now. But what are the positives you take out of that performance? This is a leading question. What are the positives you take out of this performance, other than the fact that they won?
They're not playing that well at all.
Yeah.
But Julio Cesar was awesome.
MLS's Julio Cesar is his full name.
What was the what was the tweet that you sent out, Gabby?
The tweet.
You sent out a tweet.
Yeah, I think it was Julio Cesar was not good enough for Queen's Park Rangers, but he's good enough for us.
Yeah, he certainly was good enough.
QPR probably up there from a footballing perspective.
Brazil,
power down there. Gabby, we will have you in again before the next big game.
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah, to preview Brazil.
We are
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
what are these called again?
Paçoca.
Paçoca. Paçoca. We're going to be eating our wine corks a little later. Thank you very much, Gabby Ventura.
Thank you. I don't like it.
Well done, Brazil. Oh, thank you. Oh, Rod, getting a little bit of Brazilian shade.
I love it.
There, I love that.
I love it. I love that. So I'm a bit worried, actually, looking at how the Chileans started with that national anthem, how the Brazilians countered with their national anthem.
Yeah.
Second verse to the US national anthem. On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes, etc., etc.
Yeah.
If you don't know it yet,
not many people know it.
You've got a couple of days to learn it, because before the Belgium days, 'tis the Star-Spangled Banner, oh long may it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. We know that line.
Yeah.
Learn the rest. We're going to have to bellow that out when they play in Salvador.
It's a good move singing the second verse or the third verse that nobody knows of your national anthem. Really, definitely a good move.
Jara with the own goal.
Yeah.
5th of this World Cup, Davey. The 5th of this World Cup.
Yeah.
And then it became a bit of Neymar just trying to run at people, bit wheels on Terrio. He made Chile flinch every time he burst forward.
Jara got sort of, it's the English hat-trick, that, right, Rog? It's an own goal, hit the crossbar in the final minutes, and then missed the decisive penalty.
Yeah, it'll hurt like heck tonight, but within a year we'll be making funny ads for Pizza Hut where he makes it,
well, it's all better. That's so true.
It'll all feel better. I mean, at that point, at Braves and Birds said Chile would feel much better if this were a trial by combat between the two managers. Yeah, I would have put my money on Pitbull.
Yeah.
But you saw the back lines of both teams were incredibly dodgy, Dave.
Yeah.
And though Chile had barely mounted a shot on goal, they were then gifted one. Hulk and Alexis Sanchez, that bizarre slow roller into the corner, Dave.
Yeah, it was a strange goal. Hulk with the giveaway, not enough. Trying to do, frankly, just clear the ball. All the Brazilians were shouting, just clear the ball, get it out of your own third. Alexis Sanchez, such a tricky footballer, Rog.
Do you know what his full name is?
What is it?
Alexis Alejandro Sanchez. Alex Sanchez Sanchez.
That's a good name. It's like me being called Michael Davis would be amazing. But he's such a tricky player. A well-placed shot, but I think you'd have to. I think Julio Cesar will be disappointed that he didn't save that.
Bit slow to get there. He was saving it for penalties.
Saving it for the penalty shootout.
Saving it. Brazil were forced right back into business. We were going to see what guts did they have in the Confederations Cup last summer. They rolled over teams. They pummeled them in that first 20 minutes over and over again. This was a very different challenge, and they did wake up a little, Dave. But ultimately, it became a great first half for moustaches, for Megan Rapinoe haircuts, for neck tattoos, which I imagine
neck tattoos went mainstream today,
for fouls, for diving. Bad first half for defending, for first touch in the area, for scoring.
It was very good for referees' whistles.
And for Brazil's self-confidence. Not so good, Davo, because in the second half, you saw in that locker room, Chile believed. We tweeted out before the game one of the most single, unbelievable motivational videos I've ever seen. It was shot by the Chilean miners to this Chilean football team.
That was beautiful.
They said, "We've cheated death. We will not fear death. You will not fear death." It was. You should look at it. And Chile channeled that spirit. You saw that Brazil, the longer the game went on, the more the pressure, Davo, the more the pressure of that shirt weighed them down.
Yeah, the first half I thought Brazil played better. Second half, Brazil were the better team in the first half. Chile were far the better team in the second half. Just until the final 10 minutes, fantastic. Neymar had a great delivery from Alves in the 81st minute, had a chance to head it in, put it straight at the keeper. 83rd minute, great save by Bravo, Rog. That was phenomenal. And then we went to extra time. Rog, I love extra time.
You do?
I
find it so stressful, David.
I love extra time. Extra time.
What do you love about extra time?
I love extra time because
Alexis
of the tactic.
Sanchez's shorts just seem to get higher.
They got higher.
They're lifting like a Broadway theatre curtain.
He may as well have been wearing a Speedo.
Thank God Howard Webb blew his whistle when he did, honestly. We would have seen a little bit of...
No, I love extra time. I think that just the 2 15-minute periods. I love the tactics that teams use to delay the game. I love seeing who wants to go to penalties. Chile obviously wanted to go to penalties. At various times, there were 5 or 6 of their players lying on the ground, just waving off the stretchers,
with their legs
trying
just
to get
taped
treated.
together, flesh held together by tape by the look of things. The football just disintegrated. The second period of extra time was how I imagine England versus England reserves would look like. And Brazil, when it counted, when it mattered, Davo, What were they doing? This is what was the big shock to me.
Pass back to David Luiz, long ball upfield.
Hoofing it.
Up to Neymar.
Or up to Fred, or even worse, up to Joe. Somebody tweeted us and said Fred looks like the kind of guy that would, after the game, just jump into a Trans Am and take a moonshine on illegal runs through the backwards, through states for an incredible amount of money. Where was the Brazil that we know, Dave? Was it just crushed by fear? Because Brazil, they were playing as if they were coached by Ann Coulter.
Yeah, that was very, very true. Well, I think a couple of players had good games. Hulk had a good game, Rog. He looked lively. Marcelo, I thought, looked pretty good.
Luis Gustavo, definitely. Now Pirlo's gone for me. Suavest bloke left in the World Cup.
I love Luis Gustavo. I love that moustache on that man. But I don't think he had a particularly good game, and I think he's played well for them so far. But they struggled. And even their good performances, they weren't... There is this sense with Brazil, and I'm not the first person to say it, but they dump everything into Neymar, and Neymar tries to do all by himself. We've never seen Brazil play like that. They've always played as a team. There's never been the sort of... I think Pelé was accused at some point of being a goal hog, but Pelé was allowed to go and do it. It was really, as a team, they're not really firing on all cylinders. They have no rhythm. You know, all Brazilian football fans talk about rhythm, Rog. They always talk about rhythm. There is no rhythm on this team right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this game, and I wonder how Barcelona fans experience this game. At one point in the second half, it was really like Neymar getting the ball, charging single-handedly, and then Alexis Sanchez getting the ball and just running at the Brazilian defence without a thought of passing it.
Yeah.
Two Barcelona gents going mano-mano.
And Bravo having
Joe
a great game.
wandering round. I have not seen an athlete perform like Joe since Mickey Rourke at the end of The Wrestler. He just seemed to stumble around. Macca at one point
he doesn't even lollop.
He keeps falling over.
Yeah, he does.
He did keep falling over.
Just falls over.
And then it went to penalties, which... You love extra time. How do you feel about penalties?
I hate penalties, Rog. I hate it. It's no legitimate way to end a game of football. Unfortunately, there's no better way to go and do it.
Well, we've not been invented, and we'd like to know what it is. To me, it's like watching Christopher Walken at the end of The Deer Hunter. It is a game of Russian roulette. It is only vaguely connected to the previous 120 minutes. That's a collective game. This is an individual game where an individual must make that walk of fear towards the spot, and then essentially a lottery against the goalkeeper, who is sophisticated enough to look for a number of tells to hint at where the ball is going. Many of these players do not normally take penalties even for their club, so it's almost amateur hour. There's a great documentary made of the 2006 German World Cup campaign where Jurgen Klinsmann was manager, and they caught him on film telling that. And Germans are very good at penalties. English people, not. Dutch players, Mexicans will love this, almost as bad as English players. Jurgen Klinsmann shouts at his team in the locker room, if it goes to penalties, just hit it as hard as you can. Don't think about where you're putting it, because if you don't know where you're putting it, the goalkeeper won't either.
That's a great point.
Although,
statistically, Rog, as you said before the penalty shootout started, the team that goes first has wins 60% of the time in a penalty shootout at the World Cup. The team that scores first, if they go first, wins even higher percentage. So as soon as Luis put that in, their odds of winning, it's a flawed system. As Cookie, one of the other English producers out here, Rob, said, is that really it should be like a tennis tiebreak, where it should flip. You take one, then the other team take two, then you take two, then the other team takes two, so that you're not always trailing behind as the second team to go and play. I think it's a good idea.
It's like watching suddenly the Moondor in Game of Thrones, knowing that one of the combatants is going to be flung out and the other will survive. Have to make the point. We've said that this is the World Cup of MLS. And to see a Brazilian goalkeeper, Julio Cesar, save again and again and again. The World Cup of MLS lives on.
The General.
Here he is.
The General.
Here he is.
The General. There you go, Bob.
Can we just say one quick thing?
There's a party. Were you down at the party in the yacht club?
You're keeping me from it.
Do you have yacht club membership, Bob?
You have a reciprocal down there in the yacht club.
Exactly. I've been signing your name to all the bar chits, though.
Okay, you're good. You're in the shot, Bob. Good. So, I mean, were you on set watching that whole thing come down?
Everybody else was over on the last call area. The crew was there, but I was dialed in. I had to, charting the whole thing. Because you want to know what happens through the shootout. And so, You know, I did the first ever one in 1982 between West Germany and France in Sevilla.
Legend.
And by the way, can we just say that this man is America's World Cup memory bank?
Some of them get.
He's a collective hard drive.
Yeah, and I was seated in the Rose Bowl, in the area at the end at which Baggio's errant penalty flew at us on that day, but this thing was. You could feel the nation holding its breath. We
quoted you at the beginning of this episode, if we're allowed to call it an episode, Bob, saying that last night you said to us that if Brazil lost, we'd be eating a lot of room service for the rest of our time.
Well, we looked outside during the game. Yeah, Avenida empty. Those aerial shots. I considered one for the Brazil third group stage match going down. A couple of us were going to go down and stand in the fan zone. And I was walking out of here. I saw our own coverage that day of I said, no, that's not a good idea. There are too many people. And that was dwarfed by what we saw today. Yeah. And as soon as, of course, Brazil scored in the first half, you could hear through the glass, you could hear the fireworks going off, and then of course after that,
we call them. We like to think.
We like to call them fireworks. Yeah. Even the ones that go off in quick succession, like 30 a second. We call those fireworks as the extra firework clip goes in and fires off more fireworks.
Yeah. And not lost in this is the business import to a certain company that is involved in telecasting this, because it's a good thing that Brazil continue in the cup.
Yeah, I would have said that was doing quite a rating during.
We have a little pool. Yeah, our boss outside and I exchanged mutual guesses, and we hit the same. We shan't disclose it, but we were wondering what it did on ABC today.
No, we're thinking that was. We
think the rating will be half as good as what this is now, Bob. With you in your panic room, which you were very generous enough to lend to us for the.
What the hell are you wearing?
This is our landlord. This is
Faleco. Bob, he's the World Cup mascot.
Brazil have never lost a penalty shootout when I wear this hat in game.
When Rog wears Faleco.
Let me ask you. Yeah. The question we do want to broach. Yeah. Which is what now? We like the question whither. We like the question whence. We're going to go with what now for Brazil.
Yeah, whence forth.
So Brazil played a game with no self-confidence, with crushing pressure. They have survived the gauntlet of penalties, Bob. Yeah. What now do they... This is the team that we've talked about. They believe that they are destined to win this thing. Do they leave this exhausted and bedraggled and feeling that was bloody close and this has drained their energy and there'll be easy pickings for Colombia or Uruguay? Or do they say, this reinforces our sense of destiny, we move on?
Gilberto Silva, whom I was working with, cup winner from 2002, early on in the day said the word character, and that a game such as this and the latter stages of a game such as this would reveal character. That's easy to say, but 120 draining minutes, and then to play either a Uruguayan side, which would be on an incredible emotional high, they're playing without Suarez, or Colombia.
Or Colombia, who've played some of the most attractive football in the tournament so far.
This is a hell of a draw for the Brazilians. Yeah. It really is. The United States is better off doing what they did, which is not winning the group, sitting down there in the lower right-hand side of the draw.
Yeah. However, character is important. Alexi, I think, would have described that penalty shootout win as very American, Rog. It was a very American win to tough it out and figure out how to go and win that game.
And what about an MLS keeper?
Yeah. Yes, MLS keeper. Not good enough for QPR.
And apparently, I just spoke to... I didn't see the post-game interview with Julio Cesar, but one of our Brazilian speakers was saying he was quite emotional, saying he basically was an I told you so moment for people who thought his time with the national team was through, and that he was consigned to playing for Toronto, and then QPR don't even want him. I guess he's going back to QPR. He's got to fight for his place in the team.
They don't want him for financial reasons. I had the honour of interviewing him for a movie we showed on ESPN, There Are No Tomorrows. And in our interview, which I made this movie with the great John Hock, he broke down during our interview, talking about how he played for QPR. He had an injury. They didn't want him to play for financial reasons.
Didn't want to pay his salary.
He had to train for this World Cup in a London park, training with his, I think, 11 or 12-year-old child taking shots at him. And then he showed us footage on his cell phone, and he started sobbing in interview. It's a very emotional man, a man who feels the 1950 pressure he admitted to us of Barbosa on his own shoulders. And to see him, you saw him before Scolari talking to him, you saw the passion in his eyes. What surprised me about the penalties was there was another gentleman I spent the day with and interviewed. It was Paulinho who was firing the team. The quietest, meekest, shyest guy on the team.
He stepped to that circle and just went around. I mean, Neymar took a shot at doing that. Yeah. I figured Hulk did it, but Paulinho went in everybody's face. Yeah. And it was. Can you imagine the national psyche here? had Brazil gone out on the same day that Uruguay plays at the Maracanã.
And even more shocking, 100 years since Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated in Sarajevo.
Oh,
really, essentially
been the Third World War. Nice callback, Ross. Nice callback.
Essentially birthing World War I poetry.
Yeah.
So we mark all of this. We thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
my chariot awaits. My armored
vehicle. Did you sleep well after all that meat last night? We went out to dinner. Check the Instagram.
Amazing.
Absolutely delightful night.
Amazing evening.
All right.
That was a lot of meat.
He only came in to collect his rent. We have to pay him on a weekly basis.
We have to pay him. Yeah.
We should clean the place up for Friday.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Oh, Davo.
Brilliant.
Davo. We will see. Let's button this Brazilian game by me asking you, what do you think, Davo? Do you leave this and say, we are a team of destiny? This validates our sense that we are, when you dodge a bullet, do you feel that you will live forever and you are immortal? Or do you look and say, wow, we nearly died there?
I think that the only object in the knockout stage of the tournament is to advance. I think sometimes you've got to nick a win. It's what we want the US men's national team to do on Tuesday, Rog.
Yep.
It's what Brazil did today. You just advance. They'd made a little bit of progress. I think we saw in their final game in the group stage, Brazil played their best football yet. This was a step backwards, but a very, very tense game against an opponent that knows them very well.
Yeah.
So you've got two teams, and by the way, it's going to be exactly the same in the next round, whether they play Colombia or Uruguay against an opponent that knows them very well. I think we'll see a more wide open Brazil if they come against a team from Europe or a team from CONCACAF, Rog, as we move, if they get into the semi-finals. But I think this is a wake-up call to the whole nation.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to realise, oh my God, this is who we are as a team. This is how good we are. Something's got to change. I think that Scolari's going to have to bring the changes on this team, either tactically, Rog, or personnel, and maybe both. And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him from the Brazilian media to go and do something different. Brazilians do not expect to see the ball being slotted back to their centre-back, to David Luiz, and just hoofed forward to Neymar. In my entire life watching football, I have never seen a Brazil team do that. I've never seen it.
It was the penalty performance may have been American by Brazil, but the 120 minutes before were eerily English. By the way, talking about penalty shootouts,
they've got to do something to give Neymar some space as well, because he just got shut down.
With no great striker playing ahead of him, Fred or Joe, you don't have anyone stretching the defenders, creating space for Neymar. Neymar had to create his own space. I mean, watching him at the end fall over, just the pain, the stress, and then to step up, by the way, we need to credit him to step up and hit that penalty with all of that pressure. What pressure? That was pressure. England penalty takers who crumble under pressure. Neymar, under pressure, delivered. There's an amazing sports psychologist, Geir Jordet, Geir, Norwegian gentleman. I've interviewed him many times. If you're interested in the psychology of the penalty shootout, Google his work. He has worked out every single... He even says that any player who celebrates their penalty increases the chances of the next taker to actually make it.
Well, David Luiz did that well today.
His work is absolutely unbelievable, Dave.
It didn't work for Willian, but he did it.
What a shocker. Even Ann Coulter would have said, wow, football, wow, would Ann Coulter say, David. We've got to talk about Uruguay.
Yeah, Uruguay, Colombia coming up. I think we have to start, though, by talking about Luis Suarez. We tweeted out simply Suarez's statement today. And people thought we were making it up at the point that we tweeted out. Here is the statement, Roger.
Would you read it for me, David?
On the bite on Giorgio Chiellini. After the impact, I lost my balance, making my body unstable and falling on top of my opponent, Suarez wrote in his submission to the panel. Don't ruin my suit, which met Wednesday, one day after Uruguay beat Italy 1-0. At that moment, I hit my face against the player, leaving a small bruise on my cheek and a strong pain in my teeth. A strong pain in my teeth.
They're very heavy, his teeth.
As you then tweeted out right after that, Rog. Oh, Paul Carr blows your mind, said Paul Carr blows your mind. Said Paul Carr blows your mind. Said Paul Carr blows your mind. Okay, come on, Paul Carr.
We've had our mind blown.
Our mind's already been blown.
To ask what you to is come the in point? Here and blow our minds. We'll blow our minds.
What is the point of getting your mind blown when your mind has already been blown, Rog? There we go.
I feel Paul like this, whatever it is.
Okay, Paul Carr from ESPN Stats and Research comes in every single day and blows our mind with another statistic that we couldn't imagine. My guess is this is going to have something to do with the penalty shootout.
Something along those lines, yes.
Something along those lines. Paul Carr, blow our mind.
A lot of World Cups. This is the 20th World Cup. A lot of elimination games. A lot of countries seem to get eliminated by the same country over and over.
Yeah.
England.
Yes.
Germany.
Yeah.
But Chile is the first country to be eliminated by another country 4 times.
4 times.
In the World Cup.
And 3 tournaments in a row, right?
Chile's last 3. In fact, Brazil's the only country ever to eliminate Chile at the World Cup.
Yep.
Wow.
62, 98, 2010, 2014.
At Clinton Nish, at Men in Blazers, I finally found which celebrity Paul Carr sounds like.
Yeah, which one? Fozzie Bear from the Muppets. Fozzie Bear.
Hashtag
I love that Fozzie Bear. It was always my favourite Fozzie Bear.
It.
That is a good stat. So penalties, half of them were made. Only 50% of the penalties were made in a shootout.
71% at the World Cup get converted.
Yeah.
The host nation has won 4 in a row when they've gone to shootouts.
Wow.
But they lost the 2 before that, so not a ton there.
Yeah.
But historically, you do want to go first.
Yeah.
The London School of Economics did a study a few years ago. Said 60% win if you go first.
So. And then if you score first, I'm sure it thinks. You know, one of our other producers we were mentioning, Cookie, suggested it should be like a tennis tiebreak. You should have, it should go 1, then 2, then 1, then 2, then 2, then 2, to sort of stop this advantage of always being the people
Probably
who went
would be
first
a little more fair.
Can I give you a stat?
You can.
Do you know what Alexis Sanchez's full name is?
I do not. Enlighten me.
Alexis something Sanchez.
Alex Sanchez.
Alex Sanchez.
Can you statistically tell us whether there's ever been any footballer who has
double first name, double last name?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Really? Not even Breck, Shay.
David, Beckham.
Yeah. Which brings us to our contest for a new nickname for Kyle Beckerman, which we will be closing the show with.
Beckerman.
We will plug that. Thank you so much for coming in and
thanks so much.
And blowing our mind, P-Car.
That was good, P-Car.
At P-Car ESPN, he blows your mind on a regular basis.
Paul
if you follow
blows your mind.
Twitter.
Said Paul Carr blows your mind. Thank you. Okay. So
David, these are yours. So we're talking about Uruguay. We're talking about the excuse.
Is that loud enough for you?
I mean, an excuse so poorly written. It was as if Ann Coulter was Luis Suarez's speechwriter, David.
Yeah.
But we thought that the excuse was the best bit of magic realism to emerge from South America since the great Gabriel Garcia Marquez passed away. But you came up with a point that the kind of disjointed truth, the disconnect, one could say, between truth and the explanation. Very heavy teeth. I bit.
Yeah.
You said it reflects something that's very important for us to understand, David.
Once again, my mind the size of a small squirrel's. I have no memory whatsoever.
You told me that
it
essentially reflects where he's coming from. This place where he is pulled off the plane like a hero, the president goes to meet him.
No one in Uruguay
dissonance.
Wants him to admit it. They will back him fully in that explanation. The issue is going to be when he returns, or if he returns to Liverpool, or even playing across the rest of Europe. I think it's going to be very, very tough for him. He's a man who needs help, Rog. He's a man who needs help. Denial.
Though I hope a suggestion for you, Louis, because I know you're a great friend of the pod and you watch this show. Use these 4 months wisely. I would love to read your history of civilization based on the way that you write your excuse notes.
Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler. I accidentally dropped my subject on a spike pole 870,000 times.
That wasn't. I was trying to provide a service.
Yes. Ivan the Terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to beat my son to death. He fell onto my scepter.
I'm not so terrible.
Yeah. So Luis Suarez, get into that. At that, Josh Cale said his note, Suarez's note was like George Costanza. It's not a lie if you convince yourself that it is.
Thank you, Josh
the
Cale,
truth.
as always.
Talking
great
about
stuff.
denial. Oh, thank you. Who's having a great World Cup, Dave? Apart from neck tattoos and moustaches. But
very short shorts.
The Grand Warlock of Mexico. Been very busy ahead of the Dutch game.
Yeah, very, very busy ahead of the Dutch game. Trying to figure out a new potion, right? A new spell to go and cast upon the Dutch people.
He kicked a ball past the lion into the back of a small net to symbolise what he believes will be Mexico's win on Sunday.
Yeah.
Where is our Warlock, Davo? We say again ahead of Tuesday. Warlock, get that.
You know who it might not be a warlock? What's a female warlock?
Do that again.
What's a female warlock?
A warlock.
No, a witch, I believe.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying.
Interesting. Do it, and Coulter, you're a great friend of the pod. Kyle Beckerman, we asked over Twitter last night for one of these, Davo, which is in your hands. The future of this patch is in your hands. We realised Kyle, Super Kyle, arguably with Jermaine Jones having the best American World Cup 2014, we wanted a new nickname for it.
What have we got?
You've got thousands in response, Davo.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a couple out.
Okay.
You tell me what you like. You be the judge. At Earth Morgan says we should call him Kyle Drogo. Godanit says we need to call it, very inspired by the War Pig, came up with Battle Hog.
Battle Hog.
Which I kind of like, actually, for Kyle. At Will Queen 18 thinks we should call him
Dread Left Shrempf, after the great basketball player. From Rodri Guns, the Rasta American.
Quite like that
Rasta American. I like that. And from Justin Williams, we can call him Bex. Oh, wait. No, we can't call him.
Yeah, what about, I like this one too.
Okay,
Brian Coe.
from Brian Coe.
Buffalo Soldier.
Buffalo Soldier. I love that. That's a good one.
So make a choice, mate. What is going to stick? Make a choice.
Partly because my mind is incredibly small.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Buffalo Soldier.
Okay.
I love it. It's a shame he's from Crofton, but not from Buffalo. If he was at Buffalo, that would have been a landslide.
Someone
Buffalo
did an
Soldier.
amazing version of NWA's album. It's on our www.meninblazers.com, straight out of Crofton with Kyle Beckerman on that. Great. It is absolutely gorgeous. Brian Coe, email us your postal address. You will get the coveted Blazer patch,
you'll
David.
get the Blazer
There will
patch.
be more to give out as we approach
Blazer
the big
patch.
Doom game with Dr. Evil and Belgium. I have to say, David, you've been putting in the hours, David.
Yeah.
You've been putting in the hours about Belgium. You're trying to make us.
I've gone through the military history of the United States and Belgium.
Yeah.
They've never done anything wrong.
Well,
They've
Congo,
never been.
if you're from the Congo, you'd probably disagree with that, but go on.
Yeah, but there's never been a military conflict, diplomatic conflict. The only time we really got into anything with them was around the Congo.
Yeah, Mark Twain, not happy man with the Belgians.
Half of them do speak French, Rog, so there's that.
Yeah.
We like waffles, we like beer, we like those French fries, we love chocolate. It's tough to find a lot to dislike about Belgium, other than the fact that they're playing soccer against the United States of America on Tuesday, Rog.
Very well. Where do I begin? My father was a relentlessly self-improving boulangerie owner from Belgium with low-grade narcolepsy and a penchant for a word I can't say. My mother was a 15-year-old French, can't say that word, named Chloe with web feet. My father would womanize, he'd drink, he'd make outrageous claims. He invented the question mark. Dr. Evil, one of the great movie villains of all time. Belgian, David. That's the best I can do to get my mood up right now.
Yeah.
Can't really get past the chocolate, the beer, the Brussels sprouts, the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I do know sales of Stella have probably plummeted this weekend.
Yeah, they have.
America.
But Fellaini versus Buffalo Soldier, Rog Beckerman in midfield. It's going to be
hair violence.
A hair battle extraordinaire. It's going to be amazing to watch those
Send
two go
us
at
your
it
reasons
in
to really... We need to get a bit more pumped up, David. We really do need to get pumped up. Take us home.
A few more tweets, Rog. Let's go there. Men in Blazers from Eric Grazer. Instead of PKs, they should have a duel to the death like Game of Thrones, as you said. Would like to see someone take on Hull. Trevor Dunning. Julius Caesar is a god amongst men. Seems to be a World Cup of keepers. Cesar, Ochoa, Howard. What was said during the Brazil huddle, this is from Daniel O'Leary, sounded very Tyrion Lannister before the Black Water. Rog.
I got the thickening, Davo. Take us home. We're going to go and watch the continuing saga of Chilumbaguay.
Yeah.
Only one of the great nations from that nation state that you coined, Davo. Chilumbaguay will still be standing.
It's only one of Chilumbaguay will be standing later. Looking forward to this game, the first game. Well done, FIFA writers. Amazing stuff, provided us amazing entertainment. Can't wait for this second one. Lots of football. We'll be on World Cup tonight later, Rog.
And we'll be doing a preview of Mexico and the Netherlands. If you feel a bit sad tonight when the football's over, just in your head, try and picture exactly what Miguel Herrera's doing tonight, and then you'll feel absolutely buzzed up, no problem.
At Men in Blazers, at Embassy Davies, at Rog Bennett, meninblazers.com. Send your emails, meninblazers to gmail.com. Send your ravens to the crap end of Copacabana Beach. Her name is Rio. To the Forche. And click all around ESPN FC, Rog. It's amazing. ESPN Wando is our producer's Twitter.
ESPN FC.
Amazing. There's some amazing stuff
ESPN
all around
quite
there.
Good, but not as good as ESPN.
Oh, not as good as ESPN FC. And,
Brazil lives. Brazil lives.
Brazil lives.
Take
Here
us
we
out.
go. Let's play our theme tune.